So, because I think I've been talking a bit about religion lately, and I did that little debate on Elijah Schaefer's channel the other day, some of you have been asking me about my belief system. And so I want to just give you a little bit of insight today about one of the elements of my belief system, and I want to at the same time do double duty and try to dispel some nasty rumors that are being spread by a little mean girl high school clique of people on Twitter that are like, and because it's just, it overlaps, it goes hand in hand. So what I want to talk about is this. I want to talk about competition. Because in this landscape that I'm playing in on YouTube and people doing commentary and influencers and all those things, a lot of people view it as a competition. This is actually one of the reasons I really don't like YouTube as a platform. I much prefer locals. I much prefer Rockfin too, because the way Rockfin is set up, it encourages creators to work together and to collaborate rather than go like at each other and do stupid reaction videos and things like that. I much prefer those platforms because I don't really believe in competition. I don't believe that if you win something or if someone subscribes to your channel or follows you, that means that I lose anything. And I've never believed that. And this comes from my spiritual beliefs in that I do believe that in this world, there's more than enough for everyone. For everyone. There's more than enough food for everyone. There's more than enough money for everyone. There's more than enough housing for everyone. There's more than enough jobs for everyone. The problem is when human beings act like scarcity is a real thing, and then they start to hoard. You remember at the beginning of COVID when everyone was hoarding toilet paper? Well, guess what? There was more than enough toilet paper for everyone, but a few people were convinced in the very beginning that there wasn't, and so they bought up all the toilet paper, and then they convinced more people that we didn't have as much toilet paper as we needed, and so they continued to buy up all the toilet paper until all of a sudden all the toilet paper was gone, right? It wasn't that there wasn't enough toilet paper for everyone. It's just that people, through fear or a lack of security or whatever else, they convinced themselves that if I don't buy toilet paper right now, I'm never going to have toilet paper again. And then they bought up all the toilet paper and took it away from everyone else who maybe needed the toilet paper, right? And it's the same thing with almost everything else. I don't really believe that we live in a world in which scarcity is the rule. I believe that there's more than enough for everyone as long as human beings act like there's more than enough for everyone, and you have that internal confidence and that internal security to know that if I'm getting something, that doesn't mean I'm taking something away from you, or if you're getting something, that doesn't mean you're taking something away from me. We have to act as though we are in a world, an experience in which what we want is available to us, and we just have to go and get it. And us going and get it doesn't depend on what anyone else is saying or what anyone else is doing. So let me give you a more concrete example of this, because this is again what this little high school mean girl clique has been doing. So a couple months ago, before the election, it was right before the election. Time is meaningless anymore. Right before the election, I was in a hotel, and a friend of mine, was a friend of mine, I'm not sure what we are now, an acquaintance, let's say, came and knocked on my hotel room door, and he was ready to ream me a new one. His entire goal of coming to chat with me was to ream me a new one because I had done something he didn't appreciate. Now I want to let the scene in, because there's a very important detail you guys need to know about this conversation before I explain it, is that I didn't know that he was going to come to my room up until a few minutes before he did, and I had already gotten stoned. I was very stoned during this conversation. So he is completely sober. I am very stoned. He's there to ream me out over doing something to him that has to do with competition. We're going to come back to it. And I just want you to know, we were not on a level playing field at this point in terms of sobriety. Okay, it's important for the conversation. So here is what had happened. This was around the time that on Twitter, I went at Tim Pool over having someone that I don't like and don't agree with on his show. And I'm always really confused. Tim Pool, I think is very smart. I think what he's done is very impressive. I think this stupid hit piece, if you guys haven't read the hit piece that the Daily Beast put out on him about him taking a cat hostage, which is just the most absurd, hilarious hit piece ever, and I'm a little jealous that it was written about him and not about me. But anyway, this is like back in the day. Like, so Tim Pool has basically made a career criticizing the media, right? That's like part of how he's built his little empire. He's made a career criticizing the media. He is now bigger than some major media outlets, and it's super impressive. And I criticized him because I'm sorry, I don't think that I should have to hold back critique of someone who's literally made a career criticizing the media. Okay? Like, criticism for them, but not for him. I don't play that game. So I made a critique that, I stand by to this day. I don't really want to rehash it. And all these people all of a sudden came out and said, Carlin, you are creating drama. Just to build, that is the only reason you didn't, it wasn't because you actually had a valid critique to make. It was because you were creating drama. And so when this person came to my hotel room that night and he was sober and I was stoned out of my gourd, he was saying the same thing. He's like, this is the only reason you did this, is to build your platform. Now, here's the part where like me being stoned comes into the equation. I remember sitting there listening to him read me out, and I'm sure I was looking at him like kind of like that. I had no idea what was going on, because for me, that whole notion of creating drama to build a platform based on how I see the world, it would have never occurred to me. And I felt so bad because I was trying to stifle laughter. Like, this whole idea to me, it had never occurred to me before he said it. This whole idea was so hilarious to me. I was like, why? And I was trying to hold back laughter as he was reaming me out, because he was very passionate about it. And I was trying so hard to be respectful and just not like burst out laughing to be like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I would never do this because I don't believe that competition is a real thing. I don't believe it's a real thing. I think that there's more than enough audience for me. There's more than enough audience for you. There's more than enough audience for Tim Pool. There's more than enough audience for any up-and-coming YouTuber. There's more than enough audience for everyone. And in the way that I see the world, what I believe is that if I am authentically expressing myself, if I'm authentically saying what I think, I believe that's going to attract the right audience to me. And I believe that that's true, regardless of how many haters I have, or regardless of if Cassandra Fairbanks calls me a smug asshole, or regardless of any of these things. Like, that's not my audience, and that's cool. It's okay that that's not my audience. But that doesn't mean there aren't a whole bunch of people over here who are. And I think this is true for everyone. This is a philosophy that I really learned when I was coaching, and I still do coach. Coaching is one of my favorite things to do. I coach executives. I coach different people who are making changes in their careers, things like that. I've been coaching about 5-6 years. And the thing that, and this is something I learned from Joshua. I mean, you guys know that, Joshua is my coach. He's on this channel every Tuesday night at 9:30, but he is also my coach in real life. He's been my coach for years. And when I got into the coaching game and I was getting really serious about developing my coaching business, I hired him as my coach because I believe that the best coaches in the world have coaches. And if you believe in coaching, you should damn well have a coach of your own and stuff like that. So this is something that he and I have talked about extensively, which is that there are a million different coaches in the world. You throw a rock, you're going to hit someone calling themselves a coach. You don't have to go through any sort of education to be a coach. You don't need to go through any sort of official training. There are certification programs. You can do them or not, whatever. So there are a million different coaches in the world. And conceivably, you could have someone like me, you could have someone like Joshua, you could have someone like any other coach who, is maybe more buttoned up and has a suit and tie and all these things. And all of us could say exactly the same thing. We could talk to you about what obstacles are holding you back. We could talk to you about getting over fear. We could talk to you about how to vision what your goals are. We could talk to you about any of those things. But you are going to be more receptive to the messages from some coaches than from others. Okay? So some people, I'm going to be exactly the right coach for them. Some people, I'm going to be the worst possible coach for them. And it has nothing to do with what's coming out of my mouth. It has to do with you being receptive to certain messengers. Again, you could take me, put me next to someone that is like very like buttoned up and has the nicest, most designer suit, and it's tailored and he looks very nice and has an $800 haircut or whatever the heck. Like, you could take him and put him next to me, and we could both literally say exactly the same thing. Some people are going to be more receptive to me. Some people are going to be more receptive to him. And so in that case, you know, the way I always approached coaching was the right clients are going to find me, or I'm going to find them, one way or the other. But the worst thing that can happen is when you end up forcing a mishmash between the coach and the client, where like maybe the client is just so desperate to have anyone help them that they sign up for a coach that's just like the wrong person for them. That doesn't work at all. And the same thing with when I take on coaching clients, I'm very, very particular because I want to make sure that they are the correct client, that they are actually going to be receptive to the type of coaching that I do. And I believe fundamentally there's more than enough clients for me. There's more than enough clients for that guy in the expensive suit. There's more than enough clients for Joshua. I don't think I'm in competition with any single coach. And I feel the same way about YouTube, about life in general. I think that the universe is a beautiful place that provides us with everything that we need. It really does. It provides us with absolutely everything that we need. And the thing that holds most people back from getting what they want is their own fear and their own lack of internal security. Internal security is something I've spent a tremendous amount of time developing. And, you know, I think when people get into these stupid tiffs online, part of the reason is that they don't have the internal security to know that, like, dude, like, I don't need your approval. I don't. And you don't either. Who cares if I like you? Who cares if I don't like you? Who cares if I agree with your content? Who cares if I disagree with your content? You got to develop your own internal security, man, so that what other people say doesn't bother you. Now, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. And sometimes it does. Sometimes I have moments where it's just a lot, and maybe I'm really busy and maybe I'm not taking good care of myself. And, you know, it does get to me at that point. But I always try to have the presence of mind to come back to the fact that this is a universe that has more than enough for everybody. I'm in exactly the place I'm supposed to be in. I'm appealing to the audience I'm supposed to appeal to. If you like my content, great. If you think my content is boring, dude, fine. Go listen to someone else. Like, no harm, no foul. If you are watching me right now because you hate me with every fiber of your being, I mean, I guess I'm giving you some value anyway, and you're welcome to stay. But I don't believe that just because some people watch other people, that means that there's less for me. I think I have exactly the right audience that I'm supposed to have. And I think that audience is going to grow with the people that are supposed to be in it. So this idea of competition, it's like I look at other people who are doing this stuff, and I just hope that they're enjoying what they're doing and that they're enjoying their own work, and I hope for their success. Listen, another part of my belief is that, like, I'm you, you're me. We all come from the same place. We all come from the same thing, right? I have to want for you what I want for myself. For even the people that I hate with a passion, for even the people, and I don't really hate that many people, to be honest, but like even the people that just like, they irk me, they rub me the wrong way, like I still want them to be happy. I still want them to be successful. Cassandra Fairbanks, you may think I'm a smug asshole, man, but I still want you to be happy. I want you to have that glorious garden that you're building. I hope your family's very happy, man. Like who cares? It's not like, I don't believe in this zero-sum game that a lot of people seem to. So I, you know, that's just part of how I view the world, is that we should want for others what we want for ourselves, that we should want others to be happy and fulfilled and to have that internal security. And if we all had more internal security and we all treated each other in the same light that like we would treat ourselves, right? I just think the world would be a much better place. It'd be a much easier place to live. So that's kind of what I believe. I'm not in any hurry. Like I'm very, very blessed that my platform grew so quickly. And I think there was a reason for that. This also goes to my spiritual beliefs, man. Like there was a reason that my platform grew quickly. There was a reason that it happened. I think it has to do with some sort of purpose that I'm supposed to have in this world based on a choice that I made before I was born. Again, I like woo-woo spiritual stuff, man. And maybe we can get into that whole philosophy another time. But I believe that when people are on their path, it's easy for them. You know, I talked about this with King Randall the other day. We did a live stream and talking about his amazing if you guys haven't seen my live stream with King Randall, you got to go see it because this kid is awesome. And I call him a kid. He's a 21-year-old man and he acts like he's much older than 21. But we talked about how he has grown this program for boys in Atlanta from just, you know, a couple of kids watching him do an oil change at his house a couple of years ago to now he's bought a physical school. Like that is an insane amount of growth. And I believe that the reason it happened for him in this way is because he has found exactly his path. He has found exactly his path in life. I believe the reason that Tim Pool is so successful is because he's found exactly his path. He's found exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And that's wonderful. Whether or not what he does irks me sometimes. Like that's wonderful and awesome. And I believe that part of the reason my platform grew so quickly, quickly relative to like normal people, is because for some reason, and I haven't quite figured it out yet, but for some reason, whether I like it or not, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I believe that all of these things, these decisions, these, fate, if you will, all of these things trump all these little bickering nonsense. You're just creating drama to build your platform. Like, I don't need to create drama to build my platform. I don't need to. It doesn't even make sense to me. So I believe that, generally speaking, to kind of like wrap this up, I believe that one of the things that holds people back in life, in addition to like the lack of internal security, and really like if you are constantly afraid, like that's the very first thing you got to work on. No one's going to fix that for you, man. Learn to meditate, there are wonderful guided meditations out there that will help you with this. Learn to develop that on your own. Learn to give yourself the validation that you're looking for from other people, because if you don't give it to yourself, why would anyone else give it to you? Because again, other people are going to treat you relative to how you're treating yourself. So be good for yourself. It's not always easy. I don't do this perfectly either, but that's what we got to do. But I think that if people generally viewed the world as a place in which what they wanted was available to them, and they really got in touch with what their purpose is in life and just let all the nonsense go and the bickering go, like the world would be a much happier place. I guess I'll wrap it up by saying this. I've talked many times on my channel about how I think there are two types of people in the world. I think there are creators and destroyers. And creators are people who are on that path. They have found their purpose. They've found what they're supposed to do. They're trying to give value to the world in some way. That could be a big way where you do it on the internet and lots of people see it, or it could be a little way. Like, I'm not making a value judgment on them. Like, sometimes the little things are even more valuable than the big things, right? But those are the creators. They're giving something of themselves to the world. And not everyone has to like that thing. Not everyone has to buy that thing, but they're giving something of value. They're doing something. Then we have the destroyers. And the destroyers oftentimes are the people that for some reason they're not on their path. They don't feel like they can give value to the world. They don't have the self-confidence to do it. And in order to compensate for all of those things that are going on internally to them, what they do is they try to destroy the good work of other people. We see this a lot with SJWs. Like their whole thing, cancel culture, the whole thing behind cancel culture is trying to destroy the work of good people. And, if I had to choose, I don't want to be that person that makes a career out of destroying other people. That's just not my jam. When I argue, I try to argue ideas. I'm not perfect. I try not to do character attacks like Lauren in the debate did the other day. I would much rather argue the ideas, although I did say that she wasn't married. So, again, I'm not perfect, and I don't expect you to be perfect either. But I do try to argue ideas rather than character. I do try to focus on that. Because I think that gives value, whereas, the other side is just destroying people, and I don't think that has any value. But we have to start viewing each other like, stop fighting each other. Stop. Like, I am not your competition. The guy down the street is not your competition. You are your biggest competition in this lifetime, getting over all this internal shit that's inside of you is your biggest competition in this lifetime, and the rest of it is all just noise. Once you get over that any internal lack of security that you might have, that's when you're going to be able to really like spread your wings and fly, man. And I'll tell you what, I am so blessed that I got into this type of mindset years and years and years and years and years ago. And I've had wonderful teachers that have guided me on this journey, and I wouldn't give it back for anything. I feel like I'm 20 years younger than what I am. I have so much more life today because I feel like I'm on my path. I'm focused on what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't view other people as my enemy. I don't view other people as my competition. And the best I can hope for is that everyone gets to experience something like this at some point. So I know it's a little bit rambly, just sharing my thoughts. Maybe I'll call this Philosophy Friday. All right, guys, that's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.